I'm Justin Broderick. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Paul Neville and I play guitar.
And Benny will be in there soon, or plays Benny to friends. Chico Student Prince is not stage name, but better name than Benny. And he's a bass player. He'll be in soon. And we'll show you our drum machine on stage.
Where were you for the first couple of shows? L'Amour's?
L'Amour's, I didn't make it to the stage because I only played.
Paul plays on the side to a Strictly. So, but now recently Paul plays on all the new material which we've been writing, but I mean, I've seen that in the States for quite a while. So. But at L'Amour's, I mean, we knew, but I mean, we've been one song into the set, we knew Paul wouldn't be playing because it sucked so bad. We just thought, I mean, we left after halfway through the third song, so this is Paul.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, it's gross. So, but I mean, well, the second one didn't even happen at all because the drum machine took its memory away.
So you don't play on all the tracks live?
No, not on any of the, not any song. I mean, my live recording stuff's only comes from Side to a Strictly.
Today.
So the other stuff we've got the reason why it isn't we're not playing new songs is all by saying sample technology and stuff. We don't have it with us.
We couldn't really. Yeah, there's no point in coming to the States and doing our new material, which is just about to come out in England. Because I mean, Strickland's only just come out in the States, really.
Right.
So it's important. It's just really nice. We got to please the audience by playing what they know. That's cool.
So how did Godflesh start?
I was in. Well, you probably know I was in Napalm Death.
Yeah.
Then I was in this band in David.
How long were they together?
To head of David, we're pretty much still together now, but they sucker all band these days. But sleeping by, nocturnal sleeping by.
Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for.
How you okay? Yeah, you can see.
Excuse me again.
And then David wanted to become a bit of a more straight sort of metal band. So I thought, oh shit, I'm going to have a band then form Godflesh, which was like sort of March 88.
So where did you get the name from?
It's the first name we actually come up with, and then we drew like a whole list after that, and then went back to Godflesh again. And that just seemed to be the magical name. I mean, we picked the name before we actually even sort of started really seriously getting music together as well, so it sort of give us something to live up to instantly. We knew with a name like that we had something big to go along with. We knew we wanted to make a big sound, and Godflesh just seemed to epitomise it in a literal way. It seemed to say, this is big as in band of sound.
Who writes the material?
I pretty much compose. I write all the lyrics. I pretty much compose all the structures and the material and stuff. Everybody has their own input, but I'll regiment the whole thing just because I'm just used to writing songs that sort of work instrumentation.
So how did you decide to use the drum machine?
Well, because I mean, Napalm Death I was playing guitar, but when I went to Head of David, I was playing drums. So when I formed Godflesh, I thought, oh, I want to get back to guitar again. I want to do some singing and get back to guitar. And I thought at the same time, God, I know exactly what rhythms I wanted and shit. So I just thought, if I know exactly what rhythms I want, there's no point in getting a drummer who I'm going to dictate to. Because I've been a drummer, I know rhythmically I know exactly what I want to hear. So we just thought, instead of getting a drummer and trying to dictate to a drummer, we want this, we want that, which isn't fair on an individual musician. I thought, get a machine, I can program it, I can drum, so I know exactly where I'm going with the shit.
Don't have to pay him.
Yeah, we don't have to pay him, and then arguments with the drummer and shit. It's just
How long does it take to write the song?
Between the whole song or just the drums, or
No, just the whole song set.
it really varies. A whole song can be stretched out over a week or so, 2 weeks maybe. Depends. It really takes a while. I have to live with riffs and live with certain parts for a little while and really tell. I need to make them gel in my own brain just to see if this is really what I'm. Sometimes if something sounds a bit too derivative or whatever, I can't use it. I just have to be. I'm really sort of really careful when I'm using riff wise and stuff. It has to be really spot on. I mean, I'll play something, record it, put drums to it, listen to it again, and then I'll scrap it again and go back to the start and just keep working and working. It's a lot of work, it takes a lot of work, but I find it quite easy. It's just the natural way of working. So to It's particularly hard. I think for other people to get into that sort of composing time is quite difficult.
When was the first album recorded?
That was recorded in May '88, the mini album, Just Go Fresh. Yeah.
And did you record the songs that are on the CD at the same time?
The extra CD tracks. Have you got the mini album too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Street Cleaner 2 and Wounds.
Right.
No, we recorded them December '89.
Before Christmas.
Yeah, December '89. Yeah. Because it took a while for the mini album to actually surface on Earache on a CD, so we thought when they said we were going to release it on CD, we put some extra tracks on it. We just went into a studio specifically to do extra tracks, and Street Cleaner 2 really seemed like a logical extension of some of the things we've been thinking about at the time, and they seemed really logical with the mini album as well, because the mini album's quite simple and totally in your face. I thought these jazz tracks are just a bit more liquid and really like multi-imagination. I thought it was two good sort of parallels in the music though too.
They're virtually totally technology based to extra tracks on the CD. It was all run from synthesizers to computers.
Samplers and stuff, yeah. There isn't hardly any physical elements on these two extra tracks. The only physical element really is my guitar and some of my vocals, and there is some of mine and Paul's guitar floating around here and there, but they've been really manipulated. They don't cause riffs. Everything else is, on those two tracks is just real samples, just technological sort of overload and shit.
And what about the extra tracks on Street Cleaner?
Those were recorded not so long after the mini album, and they were recorded specifically to be a 12-inch EP, 4 tracks. But because we changed labels and we went to Earache at the time, it worked out that Earache bought the tracks off the other label we was on at the time, and they didn't want to release it as a 12-inch EP because they didn't think it would be viable in a few different ways, apart from financially being viable and just from the public point of view. So they just thought, we'll put them as extra tracks, we'll boost up the album, which wasn't too pleasing to us because we would have really liked to have seen them be a 12-inch EP. But in retrospect now, I think it's better that they're with extra CD tracks really, because they're not quite as strong as well, no, maybe they are, but there's such a dense, different sound. But better as extra CD tracks, I think.
How did you come about using that clip of Altered States for Street Cleaner cover?
We've just been a big fan of the movie Altered States for years and years, and never managed to, I mean, visually it's just totally up the top. It's exactly what we like about the system. And that just seemed, for our new album at the time, we kept watching the hallucinations sort of sequences and stuff. And we saw what Ken Russell had done to like Dante's Inferno and stuff. We just thought that is amazing. Like, it just really blew us away. It sort of epitomised the sort of total hellish sort of feeling. And a real personal feeling as well. It's almost like a personal hallucination. It is a personal image as well. It's got that real hallucination sort of aspect to it. It's not on a mass level, it's more like an individualised sort of trip or some shit like that. And we just thought it was really important, like it just seems to be, especially being a TV visual. We take all our visuals directly from TV. We actually photograph the image on TV to give it a TV feel. It's the only way people see information these days is through TV anyway. It's just like, it seems to be the logical thing for us to do, is to just force this image.
So what do you think about being on a death metal label?
We always hoped it wasn't going to be a death metal label, but I think it is now. I think that's all. The label's been contrived as well, just a real shame. It's good for us because realistically, there's probably no other label we could really be at. There is. Maybe we could be on Wax Tracks or something like that.
Do you think like a lot of the alternative people are missing out on you guys?
Hopefully
Just because
not.
they like seeing Earache and say, oh, that's a death metal band, because it's on Earache.
Yeah, hopefully not. But no, we were hoping it wasn't a death metal label, but maybe, I mean, from what you know. I hope we're not alienating an alternative audience, because as far as we are in terms of these gigs, we definitely are, because we've been told at other places we're playing, it's a death metal scene, it's a death metal venue or something. Not a death metal venue, it's just that's the sort of gig that happens. And then we're playing there, and we've been told, like, a lot of people who are into us are like Nine Inch Nails fans and Ministry fans and all this sort of stuff, and apparently they won't come to these shows because as far as they're concerned, it's a death metal show. But when we come back and headline next time, apparently it's going to be, we'll have a lot then, because it's like, but I mean, next time we're meant to come back and headline, then after that we're hopefully going to be coming back to support Ministry. And those are the sort of things. That's where we should be going. I think.
Yeah.
We'd like to play more neutral venues.
Yeah.
Venues that didn't rely on being sold as any one package or another.
Because we didn't know this before this tour. We just thought Erec's been accepted on a lot of levels. From all the interviews I've done on the phone and stuff, radio interviews in the States, people be saying, oh, maybe playing a bit of a contrived bill, but you know, people still come and see it because you've got promotion shit. But it's true to an extent, but then again it isn't, because a lot of people are missing out. There is definitely other islanders of an audience that won't come to these. I don't know how anybody comes to a venue in this place anyway. I mean, I'd have to. I come here and tank, you know, anyway. I'd come to this place. Friday, I mean, before.
I have some questions about your silent partner, drum machine. Do you find it difficult creating your studio sound when you're playing that live?
Do you mean, do we find it sort of, if we get into the studio drum machine, do we find it hard trying to transfer the same sort of sound? No, not really, because the way I program the machine is, the way you hear it is actually how it's been programmed. It is the sounds are on board, actually on the machine. I mean, obviously I have to do a lot of producing and shit to get it more exaggerated. But in a live situation, it's even bigger now. It should be better, but it's nothing to edit. I'm just going to leave the edit space. Yeah, I like that 5-second edit space. But no, it's but then it's a PA permitting though usually. I mean, if the PA's just cannot handle, say, a normal drum kit, then there's no way it'll handle that drum machine usually. It's just because the drum machine is extremely powerful. I mean, the sound is just like, I mean, that PA now has had a few problems, but we just about got it there. But in the sound tonight, it'll be seriously questionable anyway. So.
Is it difficult to program?
I think drum machines are difficult. The sort of drum machine we use it's more helpful if you've got a knowledge of rhythm, if you can drum. I think that in general about drum machines, I think anybody can program a drum machine, but it's just if you've got a knowledge of rhythm, I think you've got a serious advantage basically, because you can go anywhere. If you can play drums and program a drum machine, my God, you can make a kit sound like 6 kits. It's just you can exaggerate things over and over, because I know what I'm doing drum-wise. I can play a rhythm on the machine, and I can sit there and listen to it and actually physically play this rhythm along, and I think, yeah, now I can do more on top. I'll try and put more of what a human could do. Sit there. There you go.
Have you had any problems with it in the sport?
Yeah, the other night when we completely lost all of our memory.
How did that happen?
I really don't know. The only thing we can put it down to is obviously our drum machine's English. We use English voltage and everything. We've come over here and we had to use transformer and all this sort of stuff. And I think using a transformer, for some reason, something was screwed up bad. We turned on the machine and all it said was end. Every song we had programmed on the drum machine and finished, kaput, end of story. And that's like our mini album, Street Cleaner, and all the extra tracks on those CDs completely gone.
So what did you do?
So we had to, Jim Welsh from Combat just like panic. I mean, we were about to go home. Basically what we did was we just took in Boston before the show. We had an afternoon show in Boston. We got up as early as we could. It was a Sunday as well. We had to wait outside the shop until it opened. We bought the brand new version of our drum machine. And I just sat here and programmed as much as I could, reprogrammed as many songs as I could before playing. Luckily enough, we got a whole set together. And the gig went fine, so we're pretty safe with it.
Do you change your set around much?
Not on this tour. Not since the memories go.
Yeah.
We would do normally. I mean, I've got to find more time to write some more songs, or just to rewrite a few of the tracks again, just so we've got a bit more of a choice. At the moment, we've got 5 songs we're trying to do every night. But that's a 45-minute set anyway, because some of our songs are so long. So.
What about them songs, Love is Like the Dog from Hell?
Loves a Dog from Harlem.
In My Own Light.
Yeah.
How old are they?
They were actually, before recording a lot of the recent stuff, which is like the stuff we've done just before coming on tour, which is all the new records ready to come out soon. Those were the last stuff we actually recorded about a year and a bit ago. Well, a bit longer, probably about a year and a half ago. But that's about the last stuff we recorded.
And they're on that Pathological company.
Yeah. They're some of our favourite tracks. I mean, Loves a Dog from Hell's one of my personal favourites, and all of the whole band really is one of my real personal favourites. We recorded them just specifically for Pathological. The becoming quite inclusive of the second one, especially looks at Duncan Bell because it's just live, it's as far as we can probably push it sometimes.
On one of your shirts you put a saying, death to false metal. Why'd you do that?
That was just a complete sort of piss take of the fact that we was on a death metal label. And it was just a band like Manowar, like we took it from Manowar because their slogan is death to false metal. We thought it was really amusing. So it's good because it's a real paradox because we're so much not a metal band that to have a slogan like death to false metal on the back of our shirts is just like totally in everybody's face really. You see kids who are into alternative music, what the fuck? Kids who are into metal will be like, this is an insult, you know what I mean? It's just, we just wanted to upset a few people really, but we haven't done it. We haven't really upset anyone with it, so we've discarded it recently.
So what is your new material like?
We've recently, as we were saying, we've recently got a whole heap more technology in with the new material. So it's layered, it's a lot more layers in the sound. It's a bigger sound as well. And it's a lot more demanding on the listener because there's a lot more to listen to. Whereas before you could just go with the general drive of it. And still the general drive is there, but there's so much more liquid shit and so much more solid stuff as well. There's an awful lot to listen to now. It's a very demanding sound. And I think this is in our favour. I think it's going to do us a lot of favours. I think we're going to go even more to this alternative audience. And I think the death metal audience will might stay at the same level, which could be cool really because we don't really want to play to just a total death metal audience. That's a nightmare really. Because those people, I mean, I don't understand. The death metal, the stereotype death metal listener is too dumbass for us to really play to. I don't want to really, insult death metalers because I like death metal. I play death metal bands, death metal label. So but it's just that some audiences leave a lot to be desired in the sort of intellectual ranks. They think it's just something to bang your head off and fucking big water or something. Whereas our music's meant to just, make it think.
So when is that coming out?
Well, we've actually got 3 EPs which are about to come out in England over the next month and a half. But we have, hopefully, during this tour, we'll have our single out with Sub Pop in the States, which is 2 new songs, and it's a double A song. Well, it's not double A song, it's just a 7-inch Sub Pop releasing in the States, and Earache releasing it on 12-inch, and CD single in England and Europe. That's called Slaver. That should be out in the States over the next 4 weeks, hopefully, which could be cool. And it'll be out in England over the next week. And then to follow this, we've got the Slave State EP, which is 4 brand new tracks, which is just coming out on Earache, exclusively on 12-inch CD single. And then there's the dance mixes of that EP as well, which is totally remixed versions of the songs where we've sampled all our own riffs and just done what we've just manipulated it and cut it up into pieces and reorganised songs basically, and the songs that we've actually just done normally, which is a real different angle. Combat are going to be releasing these back to back in the States, so you can get it all on just one album apparently. That's cool. The new album Pure, which is called Entitled Pure, won't be surfacing until about October.
What's that title?
It's how we see Godfish in a way, I think. As pure. It's how we like to see a lot of things and how we look at a lot of things. And how I like to, when I get off on something, I see it as really pure or something to be straight. There's a lot of other angles to it as well, but they'll be more relevant when the album comes out.
Okay, introduce yourselves and what you play.
Well, I'm Jeff, I play bass. Well, I attempt to play bass guitar and I attempt to sing as well.
And I'm Bill and I play guitar and I do some vocals too.
Kind of brief history of the band.
Very brief, we formed and we're in America.
Yeah, well, we kind of formed properly early '87. Did a demo which is pile of shit because it had another vocalist on it. Then we split with him, did a first album, then did a demo before the second album, did the second album. So really, I mean, we've been around for I don't know, over 3 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, the name dates back to '85.
Yeah, if you want to get really technical about it.
Yeah, the name dates back to '85 when me and Ken, the drummer, did try to form a band called Carcass. And we had some early lyrical ideas that ended up on the first album. But, that nothing really came of that. It wasn't until early '87.
You said to wait 10 minutes.
Alright. Until I showed up. Took the reins.
Well, it wasn't until we had a bass player, basically.
Well, Ken was doing vocals, wasn't he?
It was initially, yeah.
Why did you decide to get another guitar player?
A multitude of reasons, really.
Well, we met him and we liked him as a friend, and we always wanted another guitarist. And we asked him to join before the second album, but he wasn't interested because he thought the first one was a pile of bollocks.
But I didn't think that. He just basically couldn't see Carcass having much of a future at all because of...
Then after the second album, he was quite impressed by it, and I just really bitched at him to come over, and he came over. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's
worked
not
out
just
good.
it's not just the live thing. It really helps us live. Obviously, it feels more balanced. It sounds more balanced. But it's also for the studio too, because I mean, obviously I could have done as many guitars as I wanted to on the last records, but it would have been stupid because if you can't do it in live or in rehearsal or anything, it just won't feel right. So now, I mean, the guitar parts are limitless. We can do whatever we like, harmonies, and, different phrasing, everything really.
So how long has he been in the band?
3 months, 3 or 4 months. Yeah. Seems like an eternity, but
Kick him out.
Did you have to put the collage on the inside of Symphonies and Sickness?
I think in a way, yeah, we did. 2 reasons. One, I think in a way it would have been too close to the first album sleeve. Secondly, the record company now was in the business of selling records, not getting it banned, and they wanted a more sort of commercial record. So I think we got the best of both worlds. You still got the horror, and it still gets in the shop. So
And
that's
more
what
people get,
Yeah, that's
that's
it.
when everybody can get it.
That's what music's about, selling records.
that's it. I mean, if we can't even get people to hear our music, then we're just like, fighting ourselves. Really.
I mean, we proved all we had to prove with the first album. So there's no point in just repeating ourselves all the time.
Do a lot of people recognize that upside down head on the cover?
No.
No.
Hardly anyone. Everyone thinks it's a dog or
People
a
think
volcano or
it's a
something.
pig or something. Shit. How do you know that?
Somebody showed it to me. I didn't figure it out. It's pretty good. So, how much vocals do each of you do on the new album?
He does all the deep, I do all the screechy and high pitched.
But he also does some with effect on it. So he's this. There's a couple of parts where the voice is inhumanly low. It obviously has an effect.
We
on
make
it.
no pretense about that. It's an effect. And,
It's obviously like.
we're not the first band to
cinematic.
use it. They use it in films and all that shit.
But that's
I mean,
only
we've been accused of all the vocals is all effects and all this shit. But
I know it's like, some people after shows, like one in particular in Richmond, Virginia. I mean, we did one in the afternoon, then we did one in the evening. And the evening show was like in front of like a more of a kind of hippie, hardcore type thing, And especially after that show, people coming up to me and saying, do you use an effect on your voice? And my vocal was totally clean. It was just that they weren't familiar with that style. But I mean, the majority of vocals are totally clean.
yeah, I think the next album we're gonna make it as clean as possible.
There will be the odd effect where it's needed, but I think we're going to have to be very sparing because, let's face it, I mean, it's been overdone pretty heavily already.
That was my next question. Did you ever consider doing a song in a voice that people can understand?
I think I can understand
I
mine.
think so. I mean,
I'd like to sing on some of the new stuff, but I don't think I can.
I mean, it'll get across much sicker. Or do you think that?
If I sing, that's
Well,
pretty
that
sick,
would be
yeah.
twisted, actually. But, we're definitely going to get into, pronouncing every word as clearly as possible, but I don't think we're going to turn down the extremity of vocals. I mean, they're going to be still totally
We're
in
gonna
your
have a few
face.
ballads on the next album.
So how did you get into writing these technical war lyrics?
I think Ken was the first person to write lyrics for this band.
He was,
And then, Bill started writing lyrics and I started writing.
Yeah.
And I just took it one step further, I think, by getting my sister's nursing dictionary. And it was just basically, what we were trying to do is just take so-called death metal a bit further, make it a bit more realistic, a bit more, instead of saying gore and guts all the time, actually, describing what the hell we're on about and avoiding slang or colloquial terms, proper English. That's what it's always been about. And now it's getting even more twisted, whereas we're not making words up, we're crossing words. And it's just like, as when you compose notes together, or riffs to make a song, it's the same with words to make lyrics. It's more flowing, it's more poetic. Half the time it doesn't make sense, the lyrics, it's just pure stupidity,
Well, it does make sense in terms of it's like they're real sentences, they make grammatical sense.
Yeah,
but
but it's contradictory. Like the first verse, something dies, and then the next verse, all this shit.
I mean, some of it's like kind of.
But it's like it's as much an art form as the music. The lyrics aren't just written on one night. They ferment in a way over a few months or weeks. And
How much time do you spend researching one song?
Don't research at all. Just you know, I just if we're talking now, and if I'm writing lyrics, I just listen to everyday life, what people are saying or what I see, and I like taking popular phrases and twisting it around a bit, you know, a bit perverse. And it's fun.
So you come up with the concept first, and then do some
Yeah, I
research.
suppose so. But if we were just trying to be sick, you know, just to its own end, I mean, we could be a lot sicker. We're not just trying to be a sick band and all that shit. But, I mean, there's a lot of bands that are just sick just for the sake of it. I think we're pretty tasteful in our own little way. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, really, it's like, you know, a lot of time is spent on the lyrics and, I don't know, parts of the sleeves and stuff, but, you know, when it comes down to it, it's just the music we're bothered about. So, I mean, you know, we want everything to kind of help each other, you know, the lyrics kind of enhance the music and vice versa, but we don't want really any of the other stuff to override the music, because, I mean, that's why we're here, really. So, it's really hard to try and keep the
But
balance.
to me, all three are important.
Yeah.
The guitar.
No, well, yeah, I mean, they are all important, whatever.
It's like a cocktail, all these ingredients. It's like a cocktail.
After writing Empathological Necroticism, are you considering cremation when you die?
We've got a song about one of the new songs about, you know, crematorium, taking the ashes and using them as fertilizer and to grow cash crops. So close to the bone,
Did that bother you when you were like looking into that subject? What goes on?
into what subject? That's funny. I mean, those lyrics were probably the last ones to be written for that album, and they weren't really. They were like the quickest that came up with. I mean, nothing deep about it. It's just when you die, you die. You just don't feel anything. So I remember being in junior school and someone describing about, you know, people analysing your guts and shit when you died to see how you died. And it frightened me at the time when you're like 9 years old, but you don't feel anything for Christ's sake, so it doesn't matter.
Are you going to do your slideshow tonight?
Don't think so.
No.
We can do we're gonna have a private session after the gig. $2 to get in.
Do you do that back home? The
Yeah,
slideshow?
but we usually have a friend to do it, and you know, it's been landed on us. Someone's turned up with a projector today from combat, and they expect us to like sort it out.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not really our
shoddy if we did it.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to. We've got to sort our own fucking gear out. Never mind the projector. We've really not got the. We can't be like running from the stage to the back trying to change slides. You know?
It's really hard as well. I mean, you know, we've got another kit behind our kit every night, so it's not as if we can just go onto the back wall and stick the screen up.
And you know, we've been taking like the piss out of the people that help us, but Christ, I miss them in a way, you know, because it's so much hard work. Going back to basics, lifting our own gear, and
yeah, every day it's just completely unbearable.
even if they're not very good at doing the jobs.
So what kind of slides are it?
More or less
Shows
just,
or-
you know,
So it's like pathological photographs and
a lot of the stuff that's on the albums, the sleeves really, but you know, enlarged and stuff like that.
or before they were cut up.
Yeah.
You guys have any other problems with censorship, protesters or anything?
At the moment, in the south of Ireland, a few members of the Irish Parliament are trying to ban the record and shit, and cassette. But I mean, Ireland's a pretty conservative Catholic country. We've had our little. We've never really come into close contact with any extreme reaction. In Sweden, there's some guy, Rick. Can't remember the name of the guy. Rick's-
Alan Rubin, that's it.
Oh, Alan, yeah. I think of Rick Rubin. Yeah, this Alan Rubin guy, you know, he dug out our sleeve on national television, you know, in front of a few million audience, you know, going on, really getting hot-headed about it. I mean, we love that. I mean, that really encourages me to, you know, write more extreme lyrics and continue. And, that's what it's all about. I want to laugh.
So you're happy about this US distribution of Combat now?
Yeah, if anything's good enough for us, you know.
Yeah, we just got it. I mean, because we know the album,
paying us.
we know it can sell a bit over here at least. So, you know, it's just about time it finally came out. You know, because as far as I know, it hasn't been distributed to our import. So yeah, we have.
What else does Gruesome Graphics do? Do they just, is that something
that's
you guys
a little
just do?
He's Gruesome Graphics.
That's you,
One-man
huh?
Gruesome Graphics.
Did you do the drawings?
Yeah.
Is Ken still going to school?
University. He's got 1 year left.
How about you guys?
All of us, the rest
I'm a
of us,
professional musician,
we're just basically
bumming around.
I mean, when we finish this tour, we're all in very. He hasn't got a home. I've got one, but I mean, basically, you know, I haven't got any money.
I'm going to move to America.
How long have you guys been here so far?
2 weeks, I think.
What'd you think of G. Willikers last Sunday?
Which one was that?
The one you played Sunday?
Oh, it's too small.
It's about the size of this.
Yeah, you know, that little club in the middle of nowhere in New Jersey.
Oh yeah. Still, I mean, the audience.
Plus,
was
the
good,
equipment was a bit bollocks as well.
I mean, it sounded a bit grim on stage,
Yeah.
but
Piece of shit, yes. So how's the reaction been compared to your home crowd?
Better, I think.
Yeah.
overall, yeah. The first couple of shows.
Depends what you mean by home, though. I mean, like Europe, Germany, those countries were pretty.
Germany, you know, especially
Like
that's our
ages.
main country for selling albums at the moment. So when we go there, you know, the crowds we pulled were astonishing. It wasn't exactly. I mean, the promotion was good, but it could have been better, and still we pulled massive crowds. And over here, we've been surprised really because the things only available on imports, and we've been getting some mail from the States, but nothing that would actually indicate we'd go down as well as we have.
No, I think it does, but only on the East Coast, like,
Yeah.
around New Jersey and New York. But we played Washington, and I think, I'm not just talking shit, but it seemed like half the crowd were there for us as well.
Yeah, Washington was the exception. I mean,
Yeah, Washington's got a good scene.
usually, of course, I mean, it's Death's crowd every night,
Yeah.
and there's a handful.
And we're
of people
getting
like
a reaction off them as
Yeah.
well.
But Washington was a really strange thing because it seemed like half the crowd. I mean, when we got there, half the crowd was waiting outside because they weren't sure if we were going to turn up, and they didn't want to go in unless we were playing.
But I mean, it's not as if we're like competing with Death because we're so different anyway.
Yeah.
We feel that, you know. But it's great if, you know, these kids who turn up to see Death and like us. That's good.
Are you doing the whole tour with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is it for?
Till October.
Yeah, it's in mid-October, so it's quite a long time, another 6 weeks or something.
Do you guys have any new material? Or you just waiting until the tour's over?
Well, it's all there in its rudimentary form. It all needs to come together. So.
Yeah, I mean, we really need some solid rehearsals because as it is, we've just had. I mean, we've got a couple of songs that have been there for ages, and they're virtually sort of semi-finished, really.
What do you think of New York?
It's alright. Manhattan was a bit of a disappointment. We went to shit club by all accounts, so Brooklyn seems quite nice. Where are you from?
Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Been there.
Yeah.
Just thanks for the interview and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
The song we're going to dedicate to Carnage Fanzine. This one's called Rushhead Yapdina!
Okay, first of all, why did you change so much from the whole stuff to
We haven't
the new album?
changed at all.
Well, the songs are longer.
Not really. The slung songs are mentally murdered, so there's no change.
Yeah, well, not really mine.
The only change
But on
is
Harmony Corruption.
the only change is the production, basically, because Scott's got his own way of doing things, so the sound is not as extreme as the old Napalm. That's why we're not using Scott on the next album. The new 12-inch we've done is like far heavier, so it's like, you know, the only change I think is the sound, basically, because Scott's got his own sort of way he cleans things up, which is like at the time we thought was cool, but now sort of like, you know, we're going to get more of a raw sound on the next album, I think. But as regards change, there hasn't been a change really, I don't think, musically.
Did you have a problem getting an original sound from more sound since so many death metal bands have been recording there lately?
At the time we went there wasn't that many bands, I think. But I think we had a problem.
Scott did a lot before you.
Not really, not that many. He did Death, Obituary,
Death, Atheist and Sepultura. That's all I really
and
know.
Obituary. That's 4 bands, that's not really a lot really, compared to what he's done now.
Right now, I think they've had about 25,000 bands go there now.
At least.
At least, yeah.
But
You go into Morris Sound, you know what I mean? The deal at Morris Sound is this nowadays. It's like, it's a studio, like a normal studio, you set all the shit up. It's got this button, you know, like you get a button when you put a fucking quarter in and you twist it and you get like a couple of bubble gums, I don't know if you've got a bubble gum or chewing gum. You press it and it's called, this button will activate the Morris Sound Special Sound Reproduction. You press it, and there's your Morris Sound production. You end up with a Morris Sound production, you know what I mean?
that's basically it, because you see, no matter what, you know, whatever you do, Scott has his own way of like doing things, you know, so.
Yeah, Scott's cool. I'm happy with my drum sound. I ain't gonna rag at my drum sound. I don't like the ride cymbal on it. Is absolute bollocks because there's too much separation on the LP. You know what I mean? If you do crank it, you're gonna get a bit more of a blast out of it. But like the deal there is like, it sounds cool in the studio, but the reason why is because of the equipment that they've got in the studio to make it sound cool. You get it home and play it on a normal hi-fi system, a car stereo or something. It's compressed the fuck. They use so much compression in that studio, and so much fucking separation. It's too clean. It's not what Napalm is in the studio. It did sound real good. Got it home and like fucking, it is too clean. You know what I mean? But
at the same time, now that's there,
I mean,
I like the idea of the fact that it shows people that we can play. So
yeah, it did show people we don't just get a guitar and go do that.
or do a fucking, or you know, do a flutter fucking on the bass drum and on the fucking snare, you know, do a fucking Ken Carcass and just fucking bash everything together. I think it shows that like everything on there is played how it should be
So now
played.
it's just time to go back to the old raw sound, basically.
So you like the dirtier sound better?
Oh,
Yeah,
much
because
better.
it represents us live more. I mean, live we're different to our harmonies.
Live, you don't fucking compress fuck out of the stuff, or it wouldn't be a live show. So why should you have to do that in the studio? Obviously, you got to clean things up a bit in the studio, but not. Morrison just he's into this compression bullshit, and compressing is good on the right things, but not what they fucking do. It's too much.
How the show's been going so far? Yeah, this is like the fifth one or something.
This is it's a 6-1 tonight. Personally, playing wise for the band, I think we've done pretty well actually, considering the circumstances. Shit monitors, fucking pretty fucking rare fucking PAs. Audience wise, they love their slow stuff. They're too much into their fucking SOD mosh. I mean, as soon as you do a slow fucking rhythm, they automatically go ape shit. As soon as you do a fucking Repulsion blast, they don't know what the fuck's going on. That's why Repulsion never got anywhere, you know what I mean? Because people just could not handle the speed. So basically, I guess it's an education, you know what I mean, this tour.
But yeah, I suppose you can say we're out to educate, I suppose. At the moment, they just when we go fast, they just sort of stand there. I mean, they're into it, but they just stand there. We're too used to European crowds and Brazilian crowds where they just go off their fucking head and
Yank the
shake each
PA
other.
system, shake, do the pogo,
Exactly.
do the grapple. You know what I mean?
Shake each other, you know, thrash the PA system to the ground. that
Thrash
kind of
each
stuff.
other's heads, against each other's heads.
We're too used to that, really. At the moment, that hasn't really happened over here. It's actually spoilt my conception of like American sort of audiences. I was always told that American audiences were the best. I used to read interviews and I was told, well, they get the circles going and they get the pits and they dive off 30-foot PA rigs. I haven't seen that happen yet, really, which I'm a little bit disappointed. Hopefully, we'll get down towards LA and around that area and they'll start doing it, but I don't know. Who knows? They didn't do it when I saw Obituary, did they, Jess? No, they were pretty lame when we saw Obituary as well, so...
But those were punk gigs, like the Qs and GBH.
Nah, bollocks, man. Fucking Slayer gigs apparently used to be intense a few years ago. That's what I was told, anyway.
Do you have any input about which bands are going on this tour?
No.
As regards to the Grindcrusher thing, Nocturnus and Godflesh, yeah, the actual support bands, to be truthful, okay, it's
Well,
called...
Godflesh, we
No,
did
I
one.
mean Nocturnus and Godflesh.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
No,
right, yeah.
Godflesh, yeah, we wanted Godflesh on because they do fucking grind. You know what I mean, that is grind. You know what I mean, fucking that ain't no fucking Carcass. You know what I mean, that is proper grind. Fucking. But Nocturnus is. I'm not ragging on them. You know what I mean, fucking. I guess what they do is pretty cool, but fucking. They don't grind. You know what I mean? It's called a Grindcrusher tour. There ain't no grind going down in Nocturnus. There's as much grind there as fucking my Petra when she plays the piano, you know what I mean, my dog at home. There is no grind going down in Nocturnus, okay. It should have been Bolt. It should have been Bolt Thrower. Now I like Bolt Thrower, you know what I mean. Some of the stuff is a little bit rare, you know what I mean, but fucking at least they grind. They are a grindcore band and nothing else. You know what I mean, fucking. The reason for Bolt Thrower not doing it is because they said they will not support or go on the stage before Godflesh, because they said Godflesh is shit, Godflesh can't play the instruments and Godflesh are just a bunch of noise. You know what I mean? So like, that's a pretty fucked up attitude, but this is what the tour ended up being, you know what I mean? Fucking even Carcass should have been doing this with us, you know what I mean? At least you can call them a grindcore band, you know what I mean? Fucking, because Nocturnus are not grindcore. They are not, you know what
I
I mean?
like Nocturnus, but they just, you know, they seem oddly placed with us, because I think...
They're
so
going
far,
down very bad at all the
crowds
shows.
don't seem to be able to relate to what's going on. I mean, they're good at what they do, I like what they do, but it's not grindcore or whatever you want to fucking call it, you know. Basically. But no, I mean, as regards to other bands, they're pretty heavy, I suppose, but there's a few too many bands on each show with us.
Like Killing Joke a lot.
Chuffed in. I like a lot of things.
We're thinking a new Bolt Thrower.
New Bolt Thrower. Honest opinion, it grinds, you know what I mean? It's fucking great guitar, I really like the guitar sound. Drums are fucking shit, it's pretty much snorkel, you know what I mean? Something to drive you to sleep to. Every song's the fucking same, but I guess it's got the Bolt Thrower sound, that's something that they created themselves with the help of a few bands like fucking Sacrilege from England and some Slayer riffs. They recently toured with Autopsy, so there's quite a few Autopsy sort of riffs on there now. They've sussed out what Autopsy do, but
I guess they're alright, ain't bad.
Mick, how do you think the scene has changed in England since Napalm Death started?
Since I was in it in the beginning. I don't know, fucking. As in what? People?
People, bands.
Bands. There's a lot of bollocks bands in England. There used to be a lot better bands. Back in '86 when I joined Napalm, there used to be some classic bands around. Fucking, you still had bands like Antisect doing what they were doing, Amoebix, Sacrilege, Concrete Socks, Heresy. You had a lot of early bands on scene, Terror, fucking. A lot of the bands then were a lot friendlier and together. So Extreme Noise, Terror. They're a lot friendlier, they used to help each other out, but that's all changed. I mean, there's too much bitching still involved with fucking the scene and shit. So I don't get involved with it anymore. I keep myself to myself. I stay at home, listen to music, watch videos. That's all I fucking do. I don't do anything else. I travel when I can afford to travel. I guess that's it. I'll stop in. I don't get involved with anything. There's too many fucking wankers around.
Well, you can get in there.
Yeah. Light introduction.
Flu, man.
Seems like everybody's sick.
Yeah, I've got the flu, man. Yeah, that's why I'm fucking like.
So, are you all going to continue with your side projects?
Yeah. There ain't really any, you know what I mean? Fucking Defecation was Defecation. That's finished now. Terrorize is finished. Unseen Terror is finished. Benediction. I mean, the only side projects that will happen.
No, Benediction is still going.
Yeah, but what I mean, like for you, he's on about you still carrying on. As side projects, it'd be like personal things. I guess.
I mean, the only sort of side things, especially me and Mick and me, really want to do, will be totally different from what we're doing in Napalm. Because there isn't no point in doing a side band that's fucking close to Napalm or even similar. It's like, what's the point?
Not now, not at all. Fucking.
I mean, if I ever do something, I'd just do something personally for my own benefit, which would probably be like so off the wall, nobody'd be able to get into it anyway. And I don't really give a shit. I just do something personally for myself and like release a few thousand and see what happens. But it's when there's time. There's hardly any time. Napalm gets worse as you know as the months go by. It's like after this tour, we're like end of May, we have to go back to England, have some rest, and then we're expected to start rehearsing for the next album. And then in July, we're meant to come over here with Sepultura and start all over again. And then after that, we're going to come back and possibly record it. And then whenever that bloody comes out, you know, we're going to like go out to do Europe, which will be a bigger European tour this time than America all over again. So it's like it just gets worse, you know. You have to do it if you want to become bigger or whatever. But you know, it's hard to like do other things, which is a shame.
Introduce yourselves and what you play.
Alright, I'm Martin and I play drums. I'm Herwig on bass. And I'm Patrick, I play guitar and I play vocals.
Okay, give me a brief history of the band.
Well, we started as a band in December '87. Then in February '88, we released our first demo. It's called The Unequal Visual Response Mechanism. Then we had a couple of shows. Then in July '88, we released the second demo, Requiem for the Forest. And then a year later, in spring '89, we signed to Nuclear Blast Records with 3 records. And we already released a split LP with Conscious Stench, a 7-inch, and now a new LP.
Is this the original lineup?
That's the original lineup.
Why did you come here by yourself to the States instead of waiting for like a tour?
It's half holiday, half. It's not real tour. It's half holiday, half. Yeah, just a couple of shows and then fun.
You think it was worth it?
Sure. It was worth the fun. It was not cheap, but all in all, it was nice.
Where have you played so far? Here.
Here in the States, just in Pittsburgh, San Antonio, Houston, and now here.
How did you like the bus ride from Texas to Philadelphia?
It was great.
Really?
It was the worst thing I ever did. It was to hell and back again.
Get crazy.
It was real definitely. Yeah, it's really definitely.
Did you have any problems getting in the country?
No, not at all.
No.
We thought we wouldn't. Probably because we had some LPs and t-shirts with us, and we thought we might get the costume, but absolutely no problem.
Is that the reason you didn't bring equipment with you?
Yeah, that's the main reason, because we have to have a special visor.
We're visitors now, and if you play gigs, you work, that's kind of work, you know, and you need another kind of visor.
Say the name of your album.
Expositionsprophylaxe. That's the English version, because actually it's a German word, it's Expositionsprophylaxe.
What does it mean?
It's measures against diseases.
What is it?
Measures against diseases.
How many copies has it sold so far?
About within 3 or 4 weeks, 8,500 copies in Europe. So I don't know how much by now, but how many by now, but
We don't know it exactly. We can oversee how much.
But it's distributed all over Europe yet, and in America it's just started getting distributed.
Have you sold more 7 inches, or do you think the album's the biggest sellers for you?
Yeah, sure. I think the album will be selling a lot more than a 7-inch, sure, and a lot more than the split LP. The 7-inch went pretty good for us.
What are some of the subjects you write about, Pat?
Subjects are just anything that comes into my mind, so it's absolutely no gore and no splatter. It's more into poetic style, it's all more just a psychological style, I don't know.
More psychedelic.
So absolutely no horror, no splatter, no satanism.
So did you write poetry before you were in the band?
No,
Now
just got into it. Actually, I only write the lyrics that fits into the song. So the lyrics are...
Because they all seem like poems then.
Yeah, the lyrics later. We don't want to have such lyrics that everybody has. So we want to...
You don't.
Yeah.
Great.
Because we're poets.
No, we want to do something different.
Who decides on the titles for the songs?
The titles? Anybody. Sometimes it's usually you, sometimes just look a little into a dictionary. Sometimes.
Actually, from most of the lyrics are from in our English lessons in school. We read some about different subjects in English in the English lessons. Then some sounded cool, and then we only took it from the English lessons.
Are you guys still in school? Are you out of school?
No,
I should be in school now.
Yeah.
You're on vacation, right?
Yeah. Both of us, we finished school.
Does the cover photo have any meaning?
The cover photo.
The album.
I made some photographs in a factory. No real reasons. And I only took the best photo, and then we were looking for a title for the LP, and we thought it fits. It fits to the picture.
Actually,
we think it looks good as well.
Yeah, you know, it
we
looks
tried
good, and
some
it should make the people think about this, you know.
Was that umbrella in the picture?
Yeah, we wanted to do it umbrella and to let the people think, what the fuck is that? You know?
That's what I thought.
And the colors of the umbrella fit into the picture.
How long have each of you been playing your instruments?
Just as we began in '87.
3 years.
We had the name before we had the instrument. We began in August '87. We just worked before to get a little money to get cheap instruments, and then we tried to make some noise. And
me and Martin started, and we didn't know how to play the guitar. It was the first time for me to have guitar in the hand, for him the first time for drums. That's all weird, but we started from the very beginning. That's the thing.
How did you come up with the name?
I don't know, it just came into my mind. I thought about Philharmonic Orchestra, and then therefore that we don't sound Philharmonic, it sounds more disharmonic, so it's Philharmonic Orchestra.
Are you more popular in Germany or Austria?
Germany, the audience is much better.
There's a real scene in Austria.
There's a scene in Austria. The people don't like us in Austria.
Really?
Yeah. Especially where we live. I mean, later, I don't know why.
Not in Vienna, but especially in the small town that we live.
What do you think of the crowds here compared to Germany at shows?
There is no
Small.
big difference. They are smaller, not a big crowd.
Have you been
But the
to any
big
other
crowd.
shows? Have you been to any other shows besides Dead Horse?
Yeah,
We've seen that.
Scatterbrain last week. Just a few songs of Scatterbrain.
Is there a lot of people there?
Yeah, there were a lot of people. Think about 300 people or something.
You can do
How often do you play it back home?
In Austria we play, I think, twice a year. In Austria.
About Germany?
Germany we play in average nearly every month. Depends when we have the tour. We play a lot in Germany and all over a lot in Sweden.
Do you have a manager?
No. We manage all together.
Find it difficult or?
Not that difficult. We want to do everything for ourselves. We don't want anybody other to do it for us because we know what we want.
We don't want to share more than anything we get.
What other cities have you been to here?
Well, we've gone down by Greyhound, so we went through many cities. But we stayed in Memphis. Memphis, yeah.
Graceland.
Did you go to Graceland?
Yeah, sure.
What did you think of Graceland?
Great.
Trivia to Elvis.
Did you go to New York?
Yeah. We're going to New York tomorrow again. New York is a cool place. I like it a lot, yeah. We stayed in Houston a lot. It was cool. A long time, for about 1 week. Pumpkin House in Texas. It was so hot. It's totally different to Austria. Because this time in Austria it's pretty
Nice,
cold.
right? What's the strangest thing that you've seen here?
Strange thing that you can't get beer under 21.
Oh, yeah.
The happy parents of everywhere slept in New York. Oh God.
Yeah, and the fluoride in the water. That you can drink if you get sick of it.
What?
The fluoride in the water.
Oh, you don't like
Alright.
I know.
And full of splatter beer.
Yeah. He was the weirdest person we ever met.
We don't have that much water in the...
I know.
Every time you shit, you must be careful.
Yeah.
I don't like the German toilets because you shit and it just lays there.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't want to see
But when you shit in there, you have to... The water comes off again. Right into your ass.
It's just a question what you're used to.
Yeah.
That's very interesting toilets.
What do you think? What do you think of the beer here?
It's weaker than we are used to it. So it tastes a bit different.
Chemical water.
Did you have any so-called German beer here?
I don't know.
Beck's?
No, we didn't.
Never seen it.
Stay away from.
Yeah.
You guys missed anything back home?
Actually, no.
Some money.
What?
Sometimes something to eat.
Yeah. Sometimes the toilet.
But it's boring at home. So. By now we don't use it.
Yeah, so you guys didn't bring that much money here, did you?
No, just that we needed to travel around.
Yeah.
That's all.
So how you
That's
get,
away now.
Yeah,
So-
it's all gone now.
Nothing done.
so you're just relying on merchandise, huh?
Yeah, sure.
You're not gonna make too much here.
Maybe it's enough for a bread. Yeah, well, maybe it's enough to get back to New York. Maybe.
So you guys are playing Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pretty much when I get back to Europe.
Was redet der schon wieder?
Yeah, just right after America, we have a 3 weeks tour with Itum in Scandinavia and Holland. And then in December in France, a 1 week tour with Massacre and Voltor.
Have you guys played anywhere else besides Austria and Germany here? Have you been to any other countries playing?
Yugoslavia,
Yeah.
Switzerland,
Belgium,
Sweden, Belgium.
France,
Finland.
Finland, Switzerland.
Finland,
England was it.
East Germany.
Yeah, East Germany.
Finland,
But East Germany when it was East Germany.
What did you think of that, East Germany?
Oh, it looks like just right after the Second World War. The buildings are all smashed down. It looks.
What do you guys think of the East-West reunion?
It went very fast. I think it's not bad, but it went a little too fast because there are many people who get unemployed now in East Germany.
I think West Germany run over East Germany. So that
They want to make many profits. There are many positive things, but I think it was too fast.
A lot of people I talked to in Germany, like people your age, they weren't too crazy about it.
Funny.
What do you think of the girls here compared to?
They're fat.
No, not
all,
but most are fat, really.
Most of them are so fat.
The average is because of all the fast food you get.
I don't know. But from European
Too
girls,
much makeup.
Yeah, so thick
Like
makeup.
You guys eat at McDonald's?
No,
No,
No, you don't like
I
that?
hate it.
we don't go to McDonald's.
So what merchandise are you selling through Nuclear Blast?
CDs, LPs, picture discs, 7 inches.
Little case steel and shirts, two different shirts. The old shirt with the square head on it. Then a new shirt called no back personalization, the new ones. And they're going to be made some full color shirts of the LP cover, the new LP cover. And we have self-made some t-shirts. They're over here, made in Texas, and the one. Well, we made another different design in Austria. It's not available through Nuclear Blast.
Do you have to go in the army in Austria?
I have to show it's the reason.
So you cut your hair?
I got some problems with them because I didn't want to cut my hair. But
That's as short as you have to cut it?
no, it was longer. It was shorter. I'm out of the army since April.
Do you have anything you want to add? Anything you want to add?
Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Listen was Martin Songman. Thanks for the nice interview.
Thanks for the video.
On the toilet. Maybe I should add something in here. Maybe film. He will show how European shit in American toilet.
We add some European liquids, human liquids.
Yeah, it's
Okay, then.
Good end.
Great toilet.
The next one, maybe some of you recognize this. This one is Split LP. This one goes out to Immolation, Graphobia and Vital Remains. This one is called Forever Illusion.
Fire,
Right, quick one.
I'm Johnny Hedlund. I play bass, doing vocals for Unleashed.
After Nihilist, how long did Unleashed form after Nihilist broke up?
That was like, I think 4 months after I was kicked out on Nihilist. Yeah, then I formed Unleashed. I think December '89, yeah.
And where did you find the rest of the guys?
Well, see, they're all good friends of mine since very long, so it was a pretty easy choice because Fredrik I've known for like 7 or 8 years, and he knew Thomas for like 7 or 8 years. And Anders and I been friends since 2 or 3 years, and he was not the best drummer when I met him, but he had a good talent, and see, he develops in a speed that is almost tremendous, and we make a very good unit, so the choice was easier.
Do you have any demos out?
Oh yeah, we did like the After Dark, we did Revenge demo, that was all, yeah. But see, those demos doesn't really, that is nothing of what we do today. We do some of the songs, but the sound is terrible on those demos, so I'd rather discuss the album definitely.
So what happened to Rob?
Rob, he left the band after telling me that he thought I pushed the band too far, saying he didn't want to spend all his life and money into the music, because that's what it's all about in the beginning, when you start up a band. Well, he just really left because, well, he didn't want to, or, you know, we had a little twist about that, and there was nothing I could do because he didn't want to play with us anymore, and then it's better to get another member, and so we did. Then he joined the guys from Dismember, which is a very old friend of his. That's about it.
So how do you feel about singing?
I feel great. I feel great. You know, now I cannot think of not singing. You know, because I just love it. That's the way I get out all my hate and aggression I got inside. So even if Robert was with the band now, I would ask him to only play his guitar. That I can do the vocal because I just love it, and this is how it will stay for many years.
Did you plan on singing after he left?
How do you mean?
I mean, after he left the band, did you plan on singing, or did you want to get another singer?
No, see, I knew even before he left. I knew like 5-6 months before he left. I knew that he would leave because he was never satisfied. He never liked the way I pushed the band because I was always in a hurry. I wanted to do things fast, and I always wanted to do things professionally. And he you know, he wanted to spend, you know, more time with his girlfriend than the band. And that's the whole thing. You know, you can never go out as a unit if there is someone that is you know, doesn't want to put all his life into the band, because that's what you are. You're married to the band. So I tried in a very early stadium sort of to practice the vocals. I even did it at my job. I even fucking drove around this big truck doing vocals because I always did the lyrics, so it was pretty easy for me to practice it. And then one day he just told me that he didn't want to play with us anymore. And at that time I already knew it would happen. It was just a matter of time. So I was very well prepared when he left. I just took over.
How did you get the deal with Century Media?
Robert called me up one day, Robert Camp from Century Media office. He wanted to know what I did after I was kicked out on Nihilist, and he told me to send all our materials, and so I did. We only had 2 demos, but he wanted to see if we had the material, and well, that was about it. You know, I sent him all the things, and we had a few other offers, but there was no doubts whatsoever. Century Media definitely got the best deal, so we took it. Yeah, the choice this time as well was very easy.
Who did your logo?
That is a guy called Johan. He is a bass player of a Swedish band called Crematory. He's very good at drawing logos, and yeah, he was the one that did it for us.
Is there any concept between the cover of the cover?
How do you mean? Between the cover and...
I mean, of the cover. Is there any concept of it?
Oh yeah, sure. It has the cover is from the song Before the Creation of Time.
Do any of the other guys write besides you?
Till now, no. Till now, I've been doing about 100% of the material. But we do the arrangements, all of us. You know, there's not just me doing everything.
Right.
I do the, you know, the first how do you call it? I do the concept of everything. I do the lyrics, I do the music, and then I take it to the practice place. We talk about it, and we do the arrangement of the song together.
So, how do all the Swedish bands get along? Seems like everybody's helping out other bands.
Well, there's of course, there's competition in Sweden as well as any other country. But yeah, we get along very good together, definitely. There's no hate between the bands, no excessive hate. We're pretty much friends, all of us.
What's the response been so far? What's the response been to you guys so far in the States?
Great, just great. I even think it's better than I was supposed it to be. So I'm very happy. I mean, the album is out and everyone seems to have heard it, so I'm 100% satisfied, definitely. That's why it's so fun to play, because the crowd definitely gets into it, We go for it, and then, they get a kick out of it. So it's definitely cool.
Do you have any merchandise available for the mail?
For the mail?
Yeah.
You mean from the record companies?
Yeah.
Sure. We got all kinds of stuff. We got t-shirts, long sleeves. We got the album, of course. There's I think sweatshirts as well. We will be doing stickers and boxes, but we haven't done that yet. So that's about it.
So people should write to Century Media? People should write to Century Media for merchandise?
Yeah, definitely. Because I got so much mail, I got mounted.
Yeah.
But I do want to answer all that mail. So if they want to order things, better write to Century Media. They get a faster reply definitely.
One last question. What's your views on religion?
My views? It can be spelled in 4 letters. I think it's a big joke, really. Well, what religion? There's many religions out there. The Christian religion is already spoken so much about that there's nothing more to say. Everyone just laughs at it. There is so many people getting into Christianity, and those people, it's not the kind of people that I want to talk to about or with, because I don't really care about it anymore. We will do lyrics against it, yeah, but everyone is so well informed in the society today, so they know. I mean, even Christian people usually know what the hell they're doing. They know that, they know why you laugh at them. And but what I see as more serious is the religion that, for example, comes from the Middle East, the Islam religion. I mean, these guys they don't just have a religion. They have some kind of a, well, I don't know what to call it, but for example, the situation for women in the Middle East is not the situation for women in the Western countries, because in the Western countries, women are, they are not as high up as the men are, but still they got a decent life to it, Even in cities where Christianity is very big. I mean, women can live there, no problem. They are compared to men, they are, like any other human being. But see, in the Middle East, they are very much, the men in the Middle East treat women like animals, for example. I mean, they don't have any rights whatsoever in life. And that is why I think this religion is more seriously fucked up than the Christian religion. And that is why I want to write lyrics and push this religion even more. I don't think that these guys are ever going to read my lyrics, But I feel that I have to do something about it because I hate it so much. Well, there's a million religions in this world. There's a lot to say in this specific thing.
That's all the questions I have. Anything you want to add?
Thank you very much for the interview, and I want to say my greetings to the audience so far here in the United States, because they've been totally great. We're having a great time, definitely. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, we're here with Obituary. Who are you?
James. Guitar. Frank. Bass.
Okay, cool. So how do you like New York?
That was pretty cool.
Fucking killer.
Yeah.
Fucking killer,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
I was born here, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is a cool show, definitely.
Cool.
How's the tour been?
The tour's been awesome. Killer. Yeah.
Shake It Right Crew is really good, man.
Yeah, no
Fourth
doubt.
Century are killer.
Yeah, they're totally. Everyone's cool on the whole tour, so it's going really good. It's going smooth, like between everybody, and plus the turnouts and the responses are great. Like usually even like better than tonight.
How come you didn't bring your stage effects?
We weren't allowed to.
We're an opening act, we can't really have the God stage show and
Yeah, we have a very limited time, and plus other people's equipment set up on stage, and it's kind of rude to like set off flames because it produces like the gunpowder resin would get on other people's equipment, and it's just it's not cool. It makes it sticky and shit. You gotta wipe it off.
But it's cool, we'll be back headlining.
Yeah,
bring it off.
Do the crowds in Florida expect that, the stage show?
I guess the people who are
Florida, yeah,
used to
we've
seeing
been doing it
used to
since
Obituary.
Yeah, been doing it since we were like 15 years old. Every show in Florida is pyro.
Totally. Yeah, we did it right before we left on the tour. Oh fuck! Right before we left on the tour, we played with Morbid Angel and Atheist, and we did full on the flames and everything. It was great. 6-foot high flames shooting up in the air, and smoke. It was killer.
When's the album coming out?
That's September 12th. Killer, I got one. Here it is.
That was cool. I was going to ask you about the cover.
Yeah, it's very awesome. Check it out.
Let's put that on tape.
Here, it spreads out. Ta-da. It's the incredible fucking expanding.
Oh, that's cool.
Card. Yeah, totally. With in case you fucking don't like the first picture, there's one on the other side.
Do you think the tour would have been better for you if you were on tour with another death metal band rather than like a thrash band?
No, probably not, because death metal's like definitely on the rise, but it doesn't really draw the kinds of crowds that Sacred Reich can draw.
Yeah.
And so we're playing to a lot bigger crowds than if we just came out with another death metal band. And as a result, we're like winning over a lot of people. We're definitely making new fans that are, we're just, turning on new people to death metal. That's what we're like doing. We've seen it happen. Like we didn't think we could do it. We were very skeptical about this whole tour, and so were they. But it like blended together really well. Not like, it's not like a lot of the same fans, really. I mean, it is a totally different type of music, but there is a certain amount of people that can, that can dig our stuff too, and so that's totally cool to get to play to big crowds right off the bat.
And like fucking Sacred Reich, fucking huge, man. Really cool that we're playing with them.
Yeah, it's great exposure for us, which is just great exposure, good exposure for death metal in general. It should help every band.
How many shows have you played outside Florida before the tour?
We played Mexico and Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first tour this band's ever gone on, so it's been going really cool, considering, no doubt.
Okay. Oh, you're probably gonna get this question a lot. What happened with death?
Oh, yeah, I do get it a lot, quite a lot. Like usually more than like tonight. But basically, it just didn't work out for the best, so we parted ways, whatever, I'm not the least bit bitter about it. I'm happy about it, hopefully they are too, and so no one has to be bitter about it. It's cool, I enjoyed playing Obituary much more.
What happened with Hellwitch, Frank?
Well, I don't know. I just can't get along with Pat, really, I guess, while I was in the band, But now I get along with him now, perfect. Me and him are good friends still. It's just, I don't know, we just kind of clashed. Kind of clashed, I guess, our personalities being together all the time, and there's like no way I could ever tour with that dude, so.
Right. So how'd you end up in Obituary?
Well, I was in Hellwitch, and I went and saw Obituary with Pat at this show at the garage. A whole bunch of bands and Obituary played. We had this big fat dude named Moose playing, and I knew right away he wasn't, in the band or anything. So I talked to John, and one thing led to another, and I tried out, and they accepted me, so now I'm in Obituary.
Do you guys get along with other local bands in your area, like Morbid Angel? And Atheist?
Fuck yeah. I mean, they should say shit about us, but that's not our style. They can say what they want. I still worship Morbid Angel. They're one of my favorite bands,
Yeah.
And we get along real good at Atheists. They're really good friends of ours, and ESI, they're really cool.
Here's our Dick drummer, by the way.
Yeah, we get along with pretty much every band.
Right.
We don't like, I don't know, it's like,
why should you be at war with other bands? You know, we're all in the same type of music, you know?
Right, exactly.
It's fucking, because it's just gonna kill the death metal scene if every band fucking hates each other, you know?
Exactly.
So, you know, we try to be friendly with everybody we can, even if they do say shit about us. Fuck them, you know, that's their prerogative. I'm still, you know, whatever.
How do you guys feel about all these death bands recording at the same studio?
I think it's killer, man. It's fucking giving Morrisound a lot of exposure and giving Scott Burns a lot of work, making him lots of money.
Yeah, he's a cool, very cool guy. He deserves, you know, to get, you know, a lot of credit for what he does. He's a little overworked right now because of all the bands coming there. I think it is definitely like becoming a trend, but truthfully though, it truly is the only quality studio in that area that's real, that, you know, that has someone who understands this type of music that can, that, you know, have a sympathetic ear towards it and help you come out with a good quality sounding tape, because, you know, there's a couple death metal bands that haven't recorded at Morrisound, and, you know, their tapes just, you know, they sound like they were done by someone who's used to mixing country music, you know. It's not, you know. So it's really like, it is the smartest thing for someone to do if they're within driving distance, or if they have the money to, you know, to take the bus or something there to record. It's like in the Florida, anywhere in Florida, it's like about the wisest thing they could do.
How did you decide to do Celtic Frost?
It's hard to answer because it seems like everybody knew we were going to do it when we didn't even know we were going to do it. All right. A little bit of, I don't know, we were already done basically for the day. You know, we did a few songs for the rhythm tracks and we decided to call it quits. The band was just hanging out. We, you know, decided to waste a little time. We were jamming, and it's like Trevor started playing it, and I kicked in, and when we didn't know it, Scott kind of like hit record and was recording us doing it. So, you know, we didn't even know until we walked into the room. So he rewinded it and played it back, and saw, you know, heard how good it was, and so we went ahead and redid it and had John put the vocals to it, and it's so good, you know, we couldn't say no.
Yeah. It's fucking a Kid God song. It's like one of our main influences, you know, so why not?
You chose not to put Find the Arise on the first album. Why did you put it on this one?
A lot of, I guess, I don't know, he knows. You would know.
Well, for the first album, the only reason it wasn't on there is because Road Racer didn't want it on there. We wanted it on there. Road Racer wanted new material. We had like 9 songs done, and they wanted to drop Find Your Eyes and Like the Dead, and they wanted us to do 4 more new songs, so we did. If it wasn't for Road Racer, it would have been on the first album. I don't really know the reason why we redid it, besides it being one of our favorite songs, and it never really got pressed onto vinyl besides, you know, the compilation album.
Yeah, it sounds a lot heavier now, too.
Yeah, a lot better production on it. Yeah.
So, who influences your band? Typical general question.
The whole band in general, and each member?
In general, the whole band.
I like Celtic Frost,
Death,
Slayer, Possessed, shit like that.
Do you guys individually listen to anything that isn't metal?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I listen to Soundgarden, Nirvana, and Chili Peppers, everything.
I listen to shit.
Primus.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I've been to Primus. I think they're pretty fucking cool.
And a lot of hardcore, you know, Cro-Mags, fucking Gnostic.
I like Ministry and Godflesh.
Yeah, Ministry's killer.
What do you guys think of Possessed reforming?
I think it's killer.
Yeah.
Think it'll work?
Retain the fucking, you know, their style.
Well, it's only like one original member. It probably isn't going to be like totally like really similar, but you know,
it's still cool. Yeah, Mike Carr's a god.
Yeah,
you know, fucking.
He's awesome, like writer. You know.
Yeah, he writes cool. So it'll be awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a new album coming out next month. The new song off the album is entitled Turn Inside Out. Yeah.
autopsy.
Hi, I'm Eric. As you can tell, I'm one of Autopsy, but the other three aren't here right now.
You have a brief history of the band?
Say that again.
Brief history of the band?
Brief you in on the band. Okay, well, we started in August of '87 with just me, Chris, and a different bass player. We dropped the bass player, got Danny on guitar, and a new bass player. We did a second demo, Critical Madness. And then after that, we got signed to Peaceful Records. So then we did the album without Ken, our bass player. He quit. And then we got him back, and then we kicked him out again after the tour. So we missed out on the second album as well. And that's pretty much up to now.
How come it took you so long to get to the East Coast?
Because no one wanted to pay for us to come out. Well, we hadn't got any offers. The few offers that we did get, we couldn't accept because we were busy recording and stuff. So we really couldn't do nothing about it.
So your label never hooked you up with a tour?
Our label's out of England, so they did hook us up with a tour, but it was a European tour. So they got us 2 of them. But it's kind of hard for him to do anything in the States because he's so small.
Whatever you're ready. You plan to do a full U.S. tour?
Yeah. After the next album, we're going to do a complete European tour, go to all the countries we missed last time, and then hopefully do a stateside tour right after that.
Do you have new material now?
Yeah, we've got about 12 or 13 new songs right now. So,
are you recording now?
Yeah, we just recorded a 3-song EP that we just mixed it the other day. So we got to master it still, and then it'll be released. And that'll be we'll do the second album right when it gets released in November.
So you're doing an album after the EP?
Yeah. The EP's done. It'll be released pretty soon. And then the album will be right after that.
You got an EP yet? Names for the EP yet?
Yeah, the EP is going to be called Retribution for the Dead. And the album will be called Mental Funeral after that.
How come it took so long in between albums?
Because we've had a lot of problems with rehearsal spaces. Every time we get one, we get kicked out by the cops or something. We can't stay there. So we just recently, about 2 months ago, got a solid place. So we're hoping to keep it going now. We've already got like 7 titles for the 3rd album, and a title for the 3rd album already as well. So the 3rd album will probably come out about 8 months after the 2nd one.
What's this new material?
It's more heavy. It's a little more heavy. It's a little bit more technical, but not really that much. Doomy, with a little bit of fast parts. There's gonna be one song on the album that's about a minute long. That's probably the fastest we've ever played, though. It's like just a super fast filler song. It's called Bone Song, by the way.
Why did you change the cover of your album?
We changed the cover basically because we were having problems getting it in stores. Germany and America was a real problem for us. They didn't want to put it in their stores. So we decided to change the cover and see what, we felt we could get a better cover anyways, because that cover looked like Hellraiser a little bit, So.
How did the European tour go?
Which one? It went great. Yeah, really well. Good shows. Especially Holland. We did another tour after that, Paradise Lost. Now that was about the same. It was real good.
So you're more popular over there, you think?
In some areas we are. Some areas we're not. Like New York here, we're as big in New York as we are in some areas. Like in England, England wasn't as good as Holland. But Germany and Holland is really good for us.
How often do you play in California?
Not very often. Basically, we played about 6 times in the Bay Area, which isn't that many times, but we've been working on like new material and getting ready for tours, so it's been really rough on us. We're gonna do a show when we get back with Sadist.
In Frisco?
Yeah, either Stone or Oakland, the Omni. One of the two. Hex will play as well. Band Hex.
Is there any new bands in San Francisco? New death metal bands?
There's not shit in San Francisco. It's not, Possessed reformed with just Mike Thoreau and the old Desecration singer playing bass. That's about the newest thing going right now. Well, Epidemic, have you heard of Epidemic? There's an Epidemic from Palo Alto, California. Really, really good band. Really good. Probably the newest death metal band in California.
So death metal's not that popular in California?
It's getting there. If it's a weekend show, it's good. But most people are into Testament and Metallica. That's what most people like in the Bay Area.
Is there any like newer death metal bands that you listen to? You listen to much death metal?
Yeah. There's not really much new, but I listen to all kinds of old stuff. I still listen to the Nihilist demos a lot. I like the Carbonized demo and the 7-inch. They got a new demo out now. It's not quite the same. I still like it.
You heard that Unleashed?
Yeah, I listen to Unleashed a lot too. Yeah, Johnny. Entombed, I really like Entombed. Festivals, I like them. I don't like playing last, but
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, because it's late always. You don't have time to do nothing. You can't get drunk because you got to stay sober and play. Although you wouldn't know that by Chris Reifert tonight, by the way, or Danny Cross, who's passed out in the backstage room right now. Just because he's tired though. We spent the last night we spent on an airplane. The 2 nights before that we spent all night in the studio, so we haven't slept in about 3 nights now. So we're kind of running on autopilot right now.
When do you go back home?
Tomorrow. About 1:30 tomorrow we fly.
And you're gonna finish mixing?
We're gonna master it. Otherwise it's gonna mix. It's pretty raw production. So it won't be all polished sounding. So
why did you choose to do an EP before releasing the album?
Just because we wanted to get something out before the album. Like we originally were gonna do a single. We're gonna do 1 new song or 2 new songs, 1 live, then 1 live old song. Then we decided just to put 3 new songs on it and take 1 song and not even put it on the new album. Retribution for the Dead won't be on the new album, just to be the single. We kind of put it out as a filler between the albums because we waited a while.
Any last comments?
Yeah. Fucking turn the camera off now.
Scott, in the grip of winter.
How's the Combat release of Alter selling?
You mean just since it's been on Combat?
Yeah, since it's been on Combat.
I haven't seen any figures, but I've heard this sound really well. I know that we've been doing pretty good on the charts as far as the CMJ and those dilly dally charts, whatever. So we just got up too. We just like jumped the last chart that came out. We jumped from like I don't know 30 something to 21
Is that because
on
of the
several of them.
Is that because of the American release or just?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty much how it is. And, in the States, it's like there's a good underground. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm whatever.
Right, man?
The days. Anyways, it's like there's a good underground here in the States, but unless you're like on a, label, unless you're easy to find, most of the people won't bother with you because they're too busy buying Metallica albums and shit. But, once it gets out and it's like really easy to find, then it seems like people come around and go ahead and, try it out. Which I guess is the case. Plus, we've been doing all right in the magazines. Combat's, helped us with some of the magazines, and that's just the politics behind it. But yeah, it's good. It's doing all right.
Why did you decide to do a video, and what made you choose Immortal Rage?
Well, that video was something we did on the Grind Crusher tour over in England. That was in Nottingham, England. It was with us, Carcass, Bolt Thrower, and Napalm, and it was like a full set video or whatever, and Dig pretty much financed it. But I don't know. That's just a song somebody chose, and whatever. It's about a year old or whatever. It's just like, I don't know.
What's the title?
It's too old.
What's the title of the new album?
It's Blessed Are the Sick.
And when's it going to be released?
On Earache, it'll be out in let's see, April 28th, and States it'll be out May 28th, something like that, about a month after.
Is the Earache release going to be available here too?
No.
The import? They're
No,
not letting
they
any
can't import it now because, since we got an American label.
Yeah.
But it's going to have a really incredible cover. It's like an 18th century painting by, I think the guy's name is Brian DeVille or Steve DeVille. I think it's Brian DeVille. But it's like it's all like red. It's like, it's called Satan's Treasures, and it's, I don't know, it's pretty killer. It's a little bit different than the first album cover, that's for sure.
Are there any different musical styles on the new album?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, our band doesn't really have any one style. I mean, we do whatever whatever we want to do. We play whatever we feel like playing, and if it's slow or fast, it's basically our style is every kind of thing that we can think of, or my riffs, whatever I can think of, whatever I like, And it's like, I'll put it this way: that the new album's got more variety as far as it's got some real slow, fucking heavy, sludgy stuff, and it's got some real fast stuff, and it's just like one right after another just takes you on a fucking wavy motion like that. And it's got like 5 new songs, a couple instrumentals, and then 4 old songs. And the new songs are like way advanced, I'd say. I think the riffing, some of the songs I worked on for 2 years before they were actually done. And that's why it's gonna be really good. It's perfect. We had plenty of time to do it. We weren't rushed. Dig wasn't in the studio. We self-produced the whole thing. Nobody told us how to do this or that or whatever. And we had totally freedom of anything we wanted to write and say and play. And so that's it, man. It's totally, it's us. You hear that and you know exactly what Morbid Angel's all about when you hear the new album. It's like perfect. It's perfect for us. It's us, up to date at our best, I'd say.
What do you think the reaction's going to be to the acoustic and the piano parts?
It's hard to say. It's hard to really judge. That's Richards. It's hard to judge people's reaction, to be honest. I am like amazed at people's reactions on things in the past. I think that it should be good because it's got a lot of feeling, and it shows that we're not just a death metal band, even though that is my personal preference. Our music will always be brutal and extreme, but we also have a total classical feel
Like I myself, I listen to Mozart. That's my favorite type of music, is like Mozart's classical pieces and his operas. And I think that he was just surpassed all other composers. And that's like, it rubs off, you know, the music. I'll put it this way, the difference between Morbid Angel and the majority of these other bands is Morbid Angel riffs resolve properly and have a feeling that jumps out, and they're like, the formula of the placement of the chords, synchronization with the timing, is so worked out to the T, to where it's like basically a magical pitch, you know, sound or whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think a lot of other bands, I don't think they quite feel how a rhythm is perfect, or when it's just like, you know, cool or whatever, you know, like that. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what I feel. It's, our rhythms, they say something, they're like alive, basically. They're not just like, you know, something heavy. They're not just something fast. They're not something noisy. They're like, basically like Mozart would write, you know, cello pieces and fucking violin pieces and shit, you know. It's just got that certain movement and groove and whatever the fuck. And also we like to really stretch timings and fuck up timings and just make everything just mishmash and scramble and all, and just weave interwoven things together. That's our style, definitely.
Do you think the American sales will reach the level of the European sales?
There's no telling. I feel, this is what I feel about America's musical industry. I think there's a lot more politics, and there's a lot more fucking reaming and fucking basically polishing people, you know, for success. And I think it's bollocks. I think it should be totally up to the band. People should listen to it, and they shouldn't have to say, well, this band's cool, so let's buy their album, or this band sounds so much like this other band that they might as well be the other band, so let's buy the album. I think it should be like a band's fucking killer, and you buy their album because you like it, because you enjoy the music, because it makes a statement, and that's why, you know, that's how it is in Europe. It's not like, you know, people get popular because people pay you to get popular with them bullshit like that. That's just, I don't have anything to do with that. And I think it's, you know, it's pretty much stupid.
Did you ever get your BC Rich endorsement?
No, actually, we kind of changed our mind on that, because the new BC Rich is a little bit different than the old BC Rich, and I really didn't want to be pinned down to just one guitar, and that was what they were approaching us with, so we didn't really work it out. But now I'm playing a Gibson. I got a Gibson V, and that's what I play on the new album, and the sound is right there, and, you know, basically I got another custom guitar, so I'm just gonna play whatever I want to play. That's, you know, I like to have that freedom.
Are these dates in March a warm-up for the tour?
Which one's these right now?
Yeah.
This is for Altars of Madness. This is, since it's been released, this is, you know, to do as much. It's not really the biggest tour, it's just on the East Coast, and it goes a little bit into the central area, I guess. But it's basically a follow-up for the album. And then after that, we're gonna go do some, me and Dave is gonna go to Europe and do some kind of press stuff for the new one. And maybe go down to Brazil, hopefully, and play some shows down there, because that's a really good place. But yeah, after the new one comes out, it's released, we're going to do an extensive American tour for that too. A lot bigger than this one, of course.
You going to Europe first before that?
Yes, we're going to, because it's going to come out a month earlier in Europe for some reason, some strange reason.
Are you doing anything as far as the stage show?
Well, we're going to do as much as we can afford. You know, it's like, I would like to have holograms of demons on stage, but that costs a lot of money. So, you know, we're going to do whatever we can afford, basically.
Are you going to do any Terrorizer songs?
No.
No?
No. No.
Do you plan to do more songs, more new songs, and drop old ones when the new album comes out? Or just gonna extend the set?
To be honest, we're going to have a set that's churning. It's going to fluctuate from night to night, and people won't know what to expect, because that's the way I like to keep it.
What's the crowd reaction in other states compared to Florida, and where do you get the best reaction out of all the countries?
Well, I would say Europe, we played for more people than we played in the States. That's mainly because the album's been out longer there, and I think, you know, the European crowd just seems a little bit more, I don't know, just open. It's not like, there's not like cliques anymore. It's like people who listen to this kind of music will listen to this kind of music, and it's like very universal, and it's not like just categories. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, people are just a little bit more open over there. I don't know, I've noticed. And it's like, as far as the States, I mean, New York's always been really killer for us, to be honest. And LA was good. We did one show, or 2 shows actually over there, 2 days in a row, and that was really good at the Country Club. And, well, Texas has got some really good places. We did a good show in Washington the other night at the Club Bayou. That was really brutal, I thought.
So is it going to be a headline tour?
Yeah, we're going to do a headlining tour in Europe for the new album, and then in here in the States. We're thinking about bringing over Bolt Thrower for the States, and it's not confirmed yet. And in Europe, we're working on doing it with Entombed, taking them on the road with us. But that's not totally confirmed yet either. But, yeah.
So what does your dog Butch eat? I heard he eats some interesting things.
Well, basically, he's a pit bull, and he's line bred, which means they crossbreed, pretty much, well, crossbreed, that's just the way it is. And he doesn't like other animals. He just doesn't accept them, doesn't accept their existence. He can't live in harmony with them. And occasionally he jumps over my fence and brings home presents. But basically he's a pit bull, and he's in a kennel right now, and he just doesn't accept the other animals, so they have to treat him with special care. And he's been getting hefty, you know, throughout the years. He's about, I don't know, 80, 90 pounds now, and his fucking head is just like a cinder block. Well, I know one time he had this dog, and I had to fucking beat his head in with a 2x4 before he'd even think about letting go of it.
Miami?
No, actually, that was right out in front of my house, man.
Oh, was it?
Richard, he was loading up his truck, and he was taking off, and he left the door open, and Butch just saw this little fucking rodent thing, you know, small dog, whatever, bushy fucking thing run across, you know, it was a stray dog, so it shouldn't have been out on the road anyways. And Butch just fucking just like headed off to the pass, and he'd like, well, whatever. You know, it's like it was a mistake, of course.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I like, let's see, I don't know. It was definitely the fucking grindcore, Grind Crusher one with Napalm and Godflesh and Nocturnus is gonna be killer, so that's gonna be definitely something to check out. And Nocturnus, for one, is like personally one of my favorite bands. I think they're very innovative, you know, so it's like that's definitely some of the music on the right side of the tracks, I think, basically. And our message, in case people get us wrong, we don't promote worship of devils or gods or anything like that. Basically, we have our own way of believing, and it's personal, and everybody's entitled to their own personal religion, and religion should never get organized enough to where it would try and force itself on people and try and oppress people and try and state absolutes that try to govern all, because only the individual understands his own needs and his own will, and only he can judge his own, what is good for him, basically. So like in layman's terms, I only know what's best for me, I don't know what's best for anybody else, and nobody knows what's best for me but me. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Oh, okay.
Got
about the history of Nocturnus. How'd you get together? And
The band was formed in June of '88, and I think in September of '88 we got our keyboard player. He was a friend of like our old bass player and our guitarist Mike, and they had asked him, they knew he'd play keyboards, and they asked him if he wanted to make some intros and stuff for us, you know. So he made some stuff up and brought his keyboards to our warehouse and just, you know, played the stuff, and then we went like right into the song, and it sounded cool, you know, and we liked it a lot. And after the song was over, we were like, well, why don't you try something, you know, in the song, you know. And he tried some parts, and before we knew it, like the first day, he had like a whole song with parts down, and it sounded really good. So that's when we added our keyboard player. And then a couple months after that, in November, we recorded our demo. It was engineered by John Leva from Sabotage, the vocalist. They've lived here for a long time, so I've known him, and he just asked me if, you know, we needed any help, you know, a good engineer, and I said okay, you know. So that was pretty good, and we did our demo, and we released it like right at the beginning of the year.
How did that sell, that demo?
I think it sold pretty good. It was about 700 or 800 copies, you know, through the mail, and so I thought that was pretty good. You know, it got us our record deal, and that's what happened. Basically, we had a couple lineup changes. We got rid of Gino, and it took us about 3-4 months to find another guitarist, Sean, and we got him in October of '89, and then worked him in. In the beginning of '90, we made a new practice tape with the new, you know, everybody, and sent it to Earache again because they were interested, but they didn't want to sign us on with one guitarist. So, you know, they eventually signed us on like in April, and we recorded in May, and that's when we had a lot of problems with our bass player. So we got rid of him. He was like missing practice all the time. He's partying way too much for, you know, it got in the way of his practice, and he didn't want to practice anymore. So, you know, he did a bad job on the album, and that's why we think that the album could have sounded a lot better overall with everybody. And that's where it pretty much brought us up to date. We released the album, got a new bass player,
right,
in October, and we toured Europe.
How'd that tour go?
Real good. You know, we did like 22 shows in Germany, Holland, Belgium, and the UK.
Right.
With Bolt Thrower, and we did some shows with Benediction in the UK. They opened, and some shows with Unleashed in Germany. They opened.
That's
so,
cool.
I think they played 3 or 4 shows in Germany.
So you recorded your album at Morrisound?
Yeah.
Using Scott Burns?
No, it was Tom Morris.
Tom Morris.
Scott was, that whole month that we had booked to record, Scott had already booked Obituary, and then he was doing Sepultura almost like right away, and some other stuff. And unless we wanted to wait like 4 or 5 months almost to use Scott, you know, we had to, we just went ahead and kept the same time and used Tom. But I think it turned out really good. I mean, Tom's really good. I think on our second album, we're gonna use them both. You know, have them both engineer it.
Now, have you worked on new material for your second LP?
Yeah, we have like 5 songs already. We have one that's completed with vocals, 3 more, 4 more that are completed, and then 1 more that's almost finished. So it's like 5 new songs. We've got 1 that's almost finished.
Is it in the vein of like futuristic type topics as lyrics?
Yeah, some of them are. I mean, it's like, well, Aquatica is basically like a underwater like destruction type song, and not the band, but you know, like just about underwater destruction and stuff like that. And let's see, Climate Controller is kind of like about a guy that uses, you know, like technology and the Necronomicon to like produce like storms and stuff, like, you know, technological demons. And we got another song, it's called Grid Zone. It's about like using like just some planet out in outer space, and you strip the entire surface of the planet away. It's like an Earth-type planet, and you turn it into like just a defensive mechanism, you know, like of weapons, like a huge planet of weapons, you know. And it's about that, like doing that to a planet, and about the planet like attacking other planets in the universe. So it's a pretty weird song. And what's that? It's 3. Arctic Crypt. That's the newest one we're working on. It's kind of like a where they find an ancient creature in the ice, you know, and they bring it back to life. It's a pretty weird song. And what else? What's the other one? Oh, Method of Bodon, or might be called Tribal Bodon. It's a song about voodoo.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that one we just finished, and no lyrics yet, but it's gonna be about voodoo, and it has like another new thing that we're doing. It's the keyboards do drums also, and along with my drums in the beginning to make a real heavy like drum beat sound, you know, like a voodoo drum beat sound. So, and in the song it's got some places like that too. He does a lot of drums along with my drums. And it sounds really cool.
Let's go back in the past. Go back to the Morbid Angel days.
Before Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd that come about, Morbid Angel?
Well, that was the first band I was ever in. I met Trey in high school, and me and Trey found the band, and just we got a first bass player named Dallas, and then we got second bass player John Ortega, and then we recorded that album back in '86, and that never got released. And then after that, there was like a bunch of personal problems in the band, and me and Sterling, who was the new bass player, after we recorded the album, we fired that bass player, and we got Sterling from Incubus. And so Sterling and me quit Morbid Angel and did the Incubus thing, and Trey and Richard, you know, stayed in North Carolina, which is where we recorded the album. And the guy that was paying for the album and stuff that owned the record company was David Vincent. So, you know, they joined his band.
I see.
With, you know, and it's just how that came about. And that's how Incubus came about, too.
Okay. What do you think of the new Morbid Angel?
The new?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
The new album's really cool. I think it's a lot better than the first to me. I mean, I just like the style that they went into.
What's a couple of your favorite bands?
Me? I like all kinds of stuff, man. I like Morbid Angel a lot. I like Old Possessed. I like the two Megatherion Celtic Frost album. I like a lot of Merciful Fate and King Diamond stuff, you know. And I like Watchtower a lot. And I like a lot of heavy stuff too, you know, like a lot of death metal and Pestilence and all kinds of stuff like that. I've watched demos and I like a lot of that stuff. I mean, there's tons of bands I could name. You know, I just, I don't know, I just keep constantly finding new things that I like and I listen to it all the time, you know. So, mostly stuff like that I name, though, but that actually is a big category of different types of metal. And, you know, any bands that sound like any of those bands I mentioned, I usually like too.
Okay. All right, one last question. What's your view on religion?
Well, that's sort of like, I think I've expressed it in the music pretty well. But, you know, it's something that usually, it's gotten me in a lot of trouble already. Our whole German tour was almost canceled.
Is that right?
Because of just like certain things that were brought up from the past. And, you know, this article that they did in Germany saying that we sacrifice animals and all this shit. And so I personally, like, lately I've just been saying, you know, you can read our lyrics and think what you want, but, you know, I just, like, live my life the way I want to.
Right.
That's basically what I believe.
band. I play guitar.
I'm Ross Stone, play bass and sing. Carl Wilkinson, guitar.
Yeah. How and when did Immolation start?
Okay, we started back in '88, February of '88. Me and Tom were in a band called Rigor Mortis from New York. And when that broke up, we got Ross and Neil Boback, who played drums back then. And that's when we started. We did 2 demos, one in '88 and one in '89. And then a month before the album, Neil quit, so we got Craig Smolowski to play drums, and that's about it.
How'd you come up with the name?
Well, actually, Neil came up with the name. I don't know, he found it. I think he thought he heard it in the song, but it wasn't in the song, but he looked it up in the dictionary and it was a word, and you know, and it fit us.
Exactly how it happened. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So, what were your influences 3 years ago to make you start this band?
A lot of stuff, man.
What, 3 years ago?
Well, when you first started.
We started with Rigor Mortis, so it was like Early Death, the demos, Slayer. That was Rigor Mortis, but it changed, you know, by the time Immolation was good. Still like, I guess, Necrophagia.
Yes,
Why didn't you put out another demo after your second one?
No reason to. Yeah, I mean, you got a label interest after the second day, and then Immolation got interested, so we didn't plan on releasing the second one.
How'd the road racing deal come about?
Well, we met Monty Connor, who's, you know, the manager of the label, at a show, I think at Sundance, and, you know, we talked to him and he said that he was interested in hearing the tape, so we still never got him one. Then he sent us a letter, and we still never got back to him because we never figured, you know, Roadrunner would be interested in us anyway, because it was, you know, such a big label. So then he finally got the tapes from a friend of ours, and, you know, he started contacting us and sent us a contract, and that's about it.
Why did Neil leave?
Nobody knows.
Be a fireman. He wanted to start fire. No, he wanted to put out fires instead of start them.
Lack of, I don't know. Just lost some interest in actual playing, I guess, and actual having to play and practice and stuff like that. I guess he just wasn't into it anymore.
How'd you get Craig?
Well, we called him up. As soon as Neil quit, we had to...
Let me ask you that again.
All right, ask me that again.
How did you get Craig?
Okay. When Neil quit, you know, we had an album to do in a month or so, you know, we knew, you know, we loved Gorephobia, you know, we knew, you know, Craig could do it, he was the, you know, the right person, so we asked him just to do the album, and then by the time the album was done, you know, we asked him if he wanted to join, and he did, so, you know, took it from there.
So how long did he have to practice until he...
Month and a half.
Yeah.
So he learned all 10 songs in like under a month and a half. And I think he improved them more than they ever, you know, were before, you know. He made them better than they ever were.
So how did you get to go over to Berlin? How did that come about instead of recording here?
Well, it was just like we were given choices of like a couple of producers, and Harris Johns, you know, was the one we wanted to go with because of the stuff he did, you know, like Boy Bond, Creator, Sodom, whatever. And he just happened to be in Germany, so we ended up going over there, you know. It was basically, you know, choices given to us and we picked him, so.
What was it like recording over there?
No, it was cool.
Probably the same as anywhere else, but worse.
No, it was strange, you know, it's weird being, you know, it's different being in another country and everything, so that made it a little, you know, a lot different. But it was cool.
Who writes most of the music?
We all put into it. I mean, like, me and Tom will come up with riffs, you know, and kind of like arrange them together, and then we'll show it to, say, you know, Ross and Craig, and just work it from there. Like we'll have an arrangement, then we'll show it to them, get it down, and then Ross will get the lyrics going, you know, Tom does lyrics too, and then we all kind of like piece it together. Once we learn the song, you know, we kind of like, you know, change little parts here and there to make it better.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's those left behind the back.
Well, Tom won't do it out.
It's about what you read? Nah, basically what it's about is someone that has an understanding of Christian beliefs but doesn't agree with it necessarily. It's like someone that is like speaking to God, you know, in a sense, and just basically not agreeing with Christians. I mean, it's hard to explain the song, you know, just the way the words came out. Yeah.
What do you write about?
All kinds of stuff. You know, like trees and flowers. Nah, they just, you know, pretty much I guess fantasy lyrics. Some of them deal with like war, religion, those up behind some of the religious songs.
Has the writing changed from the first demo to the newer stuff?
It's gotten a lot better. I mean, you can tell by looking at the lyrics of newer songs, the lyrics of the older songs, it's definitely the best. That's understandable in 3 years.
So how come you guys don't play that many shows? No, besides.
We play about 37.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had the chance.
Really, I mean, so much has been going on, you know, with the record contracts and just, you know, practicing for the album, and then Neil left, and you know, there was just a lot of shit going on, and you know, we were more worried about getting prepared for the album, you know, than playing shows, you know.
Yeah, it seems like every time we would play a show, it would take like a whole week just to get prepared for that show, and it wasted a lot of time. We didn't have our own transportation or anything, and renting a van and all that fucking bullshit.
I mean, you know, back in like 88, 89, we used to do a lot of shows, but you know, local shows like Streets or like, you know, New Jersey or something. But Long Beach. Yeah, I mean, for shows like that, you don't really, you know, you get a van for like a night, but I mean, for these like long distance shows, you know, we all work and like, you know, we put in so much money for a van rental, and you know, the equipment we had back then was some of the greatest, you know, stuff in the world, so it was
Is there a concept for the cover? The album?
Yep.
What is it?
You'll never know. No.
It's another religious thing. I don't know if you ever heard of, you know, Judgment Day, basically, when Christians believe Jesus Christ is going to come, you know, for the second time, and all the good-hearted people are going to be lifted off the earth. And basically, it's a dark interception of that, what's supposed to happen. That's, we have the demons rising, intercepting the angels that are supposed to be coming down to lift, you know, the Christians from the earth. The rest you just leave it to your imagination if you do that.
Is the album selling better in Europe or here?
Nobody knows. I mean, it just came out, you know, so we heard it's doing good though so far. I mean,
it was doing good in Europe, and we heard down here, what, 3 weeks or so, it's been doing good here too, in no English.
Did a lot of people seem to have it in Europe?
No. Well, the first 3 weeks we were there wasn't even out. The first 2 weeks in Germany wasn't out, and then we went to Holland, I think it was just released, so.
Well, the problem is that it's been in the stores, and it would sell out, and then they wouldn't put any more albums in the store, so stores would go weeks without the album. So they would sell out and then not have the album when they should have it. So yeah, that's the biggest problem as well.
That happened in Sweden. I mean, they got the first shipment and they sold out, and they didn't get any more shipments, and it's been like a month already. So and that's all because I think they were using Sony Music to distribute it over there, and I don't think they had problems with Sony.
Yeah, because Sony's like really big, and they're not really worried about death metal albums. So that's the reason.
So how'd the European tour go?
It was great. Really good. I mean, I think we lucked out to get on a tour like that because, I mean, you know, Morgoth has a big European following, and Massacre. Their album's been out for, you know, a few months already, so, you know, they also have the fact that, you know, some of those guys went deaf and stuff, so, you know, they did really well over it. We played to really good crowds, I mean, crowds really receptive. It was good. Definitely good tour for us.
What countries did you play?
Germany, Switzerland, England, Ireland, Belgium, France, Holland, Sweden.
What was the reaction to Immolation?
It was good. It was very positive. I mean, it was better in certain countries, like, for instance, Ireland was really good, Belgium, France was really good, Denmark, Germany was really good considering the album wasn't out, and also for the fact that Devastation was originally supposed to be a tour. So on all the German, you know, advertisements and posters, it was advertised Devastation was playing. So despite that, I think we did really good. England, I expected a lot more from England. England wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It was still alright, but you know, we had 2 good shows in England. I think Manchester and London were good. I mean, overall though, it was a good tour. I mean, the crowds were really good.
What kind of merchandise are you selling?
Well, right now we're out of everything. Maybe in the next couple of months, if whoever wants to write to the, you know, the address on the album, PO Box, they can ask us. And if you do write, just send a self-addressed stamp envelope to save us.
And at the moment, like, Blue Grape's selling the shirts as far as, like, if you wanted to order a shirt or something. But we'll probably have shirts on the tour, you know, like, whatever that may be. But as far as ordering a shirt, you order from Blue Grape.
Pick up H. Gibbs in Europe. So who came up with this backwards talk?
Will.
How many words do you have?
It's an unlimited vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just some, you know, some stupid shit we used to do back like 83, 84, you know. We were just young meddlers, and now we just do it for the group. It's just funny, you know.
What are some of the words?
I don't know. Good ones. I don't know. Just anything, man. You can say anything, man.
Some kid called me up from Tennessee, and he saw an interview with Will. It said some band is Yag. And he's like, what does that mean? He called me up to ask me. I'm like, I don't know. I had no clue. I had no idea. It's like, you gotta write to Will and Ross or something.
That's funny. How people just pick up on it. When we're in Europe, we got all the guys at Massacre and all got saying shit like that. He's acting all corny. It's funny. They can rub off on people.
Anything else you want to add?
Ask him about the 4 Crods in a Pod thing.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, yeah, that's
4 Crods in a Pod.
That's our
publishing company.
You know, you have to think of something original that, you know, that probably wasn't used before. And, you know, I doubt that's ever been used. That's why we picked it. So, it's cool.
And Pod is going in possession backwards.
Yeah.